Hey, this is Brooke, functional medicine dietitian specializing in fertility, and this is the Fertility Dietitian podcast, where I help you uncover the barriers that are preventing you from optimizing your fertility and teach you how to work with your body to finally take home a healthy baby. Each week, I will be diving into different topics on fertility and sharing my perspective on physiology, metabolic health, nutrition, and lifestyle approaches that have helped hundreds of couples get pregnant even after years of heartache. My goal is to empower you with the knowledge you need to take back control of your fertility. Happy listening. We are talking all about prepping for IVF today. First and foremost, IVF is a tool, not a fix, and we have to treat it that way. If you have been steered down the IVF track due to not having a period, please stop. You can get your period back. The right support goes a really long ways here. If you were steered down the IVF track due to a PCOS diagnosis, hard stop. There's a lot we can do here to support natural conception. Okay. And I'm not here to judge your choices by any means. IVF is a wonderful tool, but if we can avoid it, that is definitely the ultimate goal, right? And I know many of you listening to this episode and many of my clients have been through month after month, year after year of trying to conceive, trying all of the things, and nothing has worked. So if it has led you to IVF, we'll definitely talk about how to prep for that. But if you have been given a PCOS diagnosis and told that IVF is your only option, we should really take a step back and prep first. And if you don't have a period, let's get that period back, because your outcomes, even if you do end up going to IVF, are going to be so much higher. But most likely you don't need IVF if you don't have a period. And if you have low AMH, no, IVF is absolutely not your only option. AMH is variable, and you can learn so much more about AMH and how to look at it and even improve it in episode 4. Okay. And then lastly, if you have unexplained infertility, we have a lot more investigating to do that most often uncovers the barriers that can help you avoid IVF. Okay. There is absolutely a time and place for IVF, but it's used prematurely way too often. And I know this because I have helped dozens of couples avoid it after they had been told that it was their only option. Okay. So that's why I'm starting this episode this way. We really need to take a step back and think about if IVF is our only and best option, or if it is really just the best tools that our providers have to offer us. Okay. There's a really big difference. Okay. And you shouldn't have to figure it all out on your own. But if you are saying, okay, thanks for this information, but I'm committed to the IVF track, I've still got you, and I'm more than happy to support you as well. Okay. I just believe in very informed consent for all of the steps of the fertility protocol. And if you are looking for the best outcomes from IVF, you have to prep your body for it. Focusing on supporting egg quality, sperm quality, and reproductive environment. And reproductive environment includes the health of your lining, your endometrial lining, your gut health, your immune health, your nervous system, and really your nutrient status. And prepping all of these areas can be the difference between getting 0 embryos and getting 5 to 6 healthy embryos from just one retrieval. Okay, I've worked with dozens of couples that have been going down the IVF track with very poor outcomes before really prepping. And this results in few eggs retrieved, poor fertilization rates. The eggs that are retrieved are poor quality, which lead to these poor fertilization rates, and poor quality embryos, which sperm health absolutely contributes to the fertilization rates and the quality of embryos as well. But by taking a step back to learn how to really work with our bodies, we have been able to avoid IVF altogether, or greatly improve the number of healthy embryos in the very next round or cycle of IVF if they choose to or had to stick with IVF. Okay. Preparing for IVF should take 3 to 4 months minimum, as this is the time frame that it takes to see significant improvements in egg and sperm quality. And depending where you're starting, you may need a little bit more prep or even a little bit less, but most likely a minimum of 3 to 4 months is a good time frame to kind of wrap your mind around in prepping for IVF. And yes, the quality of your eggs can absolutely improve. Don't listen to anybody that tells you they can't. You can have better quality eggs in your late 30s than you did in your late 20s, depending on how you're taking care of your fertility. And yes, sperm quality is still a really big deal for IVF. If sperm with high DNA fragmentation fertilizes an egg, it will have trouble dividing into blastocyst stage. It'll have trouble implanting post-transfer. And if it does make it past implantation, it poses a high risk for many pregnancy complications and health complications for baby. Okay, you can learn much more about DNA fragmentation and overall sperm health in episodes 6 and 7. Okay, but please don't let anyone put pressure on you to start IVF sooner due to your age. I promise you that prepping will get you a healthy baby faster than diving straight into IVF. I see this over and over again. Okay, so I know you're dying to learn how you should prep, right? Here is what I would prioritize to improve egg quality and overall reproductive environment. Number 1, start with preconception labs to learn more about what your body needs. This is different, typically a much deeper dive than what a fertility clinic does. Okay, it includes things like a full iron panel, a deeper look at nutrient status, inflammation markers, a deep dive into blood sugar balance, full thyroid panel, gut health, etc. It's a really comprehensive look at what barriers are getting in the way of how your body is able to support equality and overall reproductive environment. So I am going to link a preconception checklist for a full list of the labs for both female fertility and male fertility. So I highly recommend you check that out in my digital shop. It's a very comprehensive overall checklist, but the list of labs in there are definitely something you want. Number 2, so you're starting with your labs. Next, you want to really prioritize sleep. Prioritizing 8 to 9 hours of good quality sleep is really important. This is the time that your body goes through major detox processes, repairs its cells, and manages its hormones, which are all really big pieces of supporting fertility. If you struggle with this, start with the tips in episode 26 to help you improve both duration and quality of your rest and repair time or sleep. Number 3, eat breakfast within 1 hour of waking up. If you've been following along with me on Instagram for a while, or even along with this podcast, you have heard this before, and it is just as important when you're prepping for IVF. Make this breakfast high protein, like 30 plus grams of animal protein is going to be ideal. This will set up your hormones for the day in the best way possible while decreasing your stress. Yes, really, it makes a really big difference. Number 4, really focus in on nutrient-dense foods, including whole eggs, full-fat dairy, fatty fish, slow-cooked meats, and lots of vibrant color from things like berries and leafy greens, citrus, and beets. These foods are really nutrient dense, giving you vitamins and minerals that support everything from DNA programming of egg and sperm to hormone balance to just overall nutrient status, gut health, and on and on and on. It really supports the overall picture of fertility. Okay. Number 5, get outside more. Being in nature helps regulate your nervous system and your immune system and even your thyroid function. Okay, these are all major pieces of the reproductive environment. We are not meant to be under artificial lights and staring at screens all day. So start with sunrise light if you can, getting that skylight in, even if the sun is not quite up yet, can make a difference. And definitely before screen time is going to help your actually your quality of sleep, as well as those other areas like your nervous system, immune system, thyroid function. Adding in light exposure in the middle of the day, like lunch break outside, walk after work, and then getting evening light in is really supportive as well. Even a few minutes each session makes a difference. Also, dimming your lights inside when the sun goes down outside and getting off your screens an hour before bed or more, if you can make a really big difference with the overall reproductive environment and certainly your sleep quality as well. So, very supportive tip there. Number 6, prioritize strength training over cardio. Pick up some heavy weights, ladies. Okay. It is so supportive of so many things metabolically, including what's happening with your blood sugar balance and your immune system. And your overall hormones, which all contributes to improved egg quality and reproductive environment too. And this is for the guys too. Lifting weights is very supportive of their overall hormone balance and sperm health also. Number 7, supplements that support mitochondrial health. Okay, so this is a generalized recommendation. You may need something different depending on your labs, but thinking about CoQ10 at about 400 milligrams a day, or I like to dose it 200 milligrams twice a day. You want the ubiquinol form, okay, not the ubiquinone form. And there's some other ones on the market. You want ubiquinol. That's the easiest for your body to use. Another supplement called NAC or N-acetylcysteine is also very supportive of mitochondrial health. 600 milligrams a day of NAC is very helpful for egg and sperm health. And magnesium glycinate is very calming to the nervous system, definitely supports mitochondrial health with how it supports overall energy production. Going for 400 milligrams right before bed is a great time to take it because it also supports sleep quality too. And a comprehensive prenatal goes a long ways here too for filling in the gaps. A couple of my favorites are Full Well Fertility and Needed Nourishment. Those are very comprehensive. They do not have iron in them, which is actually something we want to look at completely separately because of how comprehensive it is. How complex it is. But a comprehensive prenatal is definitely going to support overall energy creation and therefore mitochondrial health as well. And last but not least, nourish your nervous system. Okay, this is another way to think about stress management. We want to be able to get out of the stress state easily and not get stuck in that stress state. And fertility is stressful. IVF is very stressful. So prepping your body this way can make a really big difference for how you're going to respond to the medications once you start. Think about doing deep breathing. Pairing deep breathing with mealtime can be a way to think about it because then you're also supporting digestion. Humming and singing is stimulating to our vagus nerve, which is very calming for our nervous system. Slowing down everything you do makes a difference as well. Try to leave yourself plenty of time when you're going somewhere so you're not rushing around. Brush your teeth slower, eat slower. It all makes a difference in how your nervous system is responding to your life and your environment. Incorporating acupuncture is awesome for nervous system as well as just overall sleep quality and hormone balance as well. So if that is something that you have access to, getting into a routine with acupuncture is helpful. Even things like massages, therapy, all supportive depending on what you feel like you can fit in. Things like meditation that you can do at home on your own is also very supportive, and mineral soaks or doing like Epsom salt baths can be also very supportive for the nervous system as well as your nutrient status too. So all of these tips are helpful for both male and female prep. There are more tips supporting egg quality in episode 5 and more tips for sperm health and DNA fragmentation in episodes 6 and 7. Please remember you don't have to figure it all out on your own. And if you're ready to dig deeper and start working with your body, I would love to support you. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Fertility Dietitian podcast. If you enjoyed it, please leave a review to let me know what topics you want more of or less of. If you want to keep learning, subscribe at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out my website for more info on my private coaching program, Master Your Fertility, or my membership community, Fertility Blueprint. And don't forget my digital store. Come say hi on YouTube and Instagram. See you in the next episode.